What's up, you gorgeous ghouls? We are back. We are the ghouls of the Roundtable, and tonight we are talking Jaws with my fellow co-hosts Jack and Clayton from Jack Petrie Reviews and Ages of Film. So, what is up, everybody? How you guys doing?
Doing very well. Very excited about this Jaws discussion. I'm 20 minutes having finished the end of a film, so I'm ready and fresh to get deep diving into this one.
Oh, Clayton, your mic.
Rookie mistake. I was
there you go.
Oh man. I'm excited for this one. I've been a huge fan of Jaws for years, man. I love this movie. It's like I was talking to my cousin yesterday, and he's also a big Jaws fan. And I was telling him, I sent him a screenshot of me of queuing up Jaws. I was like, there's a few films, there's a handful of films that are a yearly watch for me that I have to watch every year. Jaws is one of them. And so yeah, I love this movie. Can't wait to get into it. It's a classic, man. It's a beast.
It's going to be nice to talk positive about Spielberg tonight because I've been hearing not the best things about the old Disclosure Day.
I'm avoiding that one for the time being. But
honestly, I think I'll like it. Honestly, from what people are saying, I think I'll lean towards of liking the conversation it creates. But he's just a different filmmaker now. He's a different mindset, as you can imagine. But yeah, yearly watch for me. Double tape.
Nice.
Double
wow.
VHS tape. This is like the 25th, maybe the 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
What year did you get that, or where did you find that?
It's
like gold dust.
75.
I was looking for a VHS tape of Rocky, the one I had when I was a kid. It's the one where kind of Adrian's on his chest and he's got the black eye and he's just looking at the camera. It's here somewhere. I just don't think it's in my vicinity.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
So a guy had 8 boxes of videotapes, and I just wanted the Rocky one, and it was $100. So I said, you know what? I'll buy them all. Maybe there'll be some good ones. And there was a boatload of great VHS tapes in there, and I think it came with that.
Oh, so, cool.
I think that's pretty right on. So yeah. Thank you for watching, guys. We had a few subscribers, 30 subscribers now. Good friend of mine, horror head Heather, she subbed to the channel and stuff, and got some good comments and stuff. So I just wanted to thank you guys, because we're only going to be like a week to week and maybe twice a month even, guys. So we appreciate you guys watching and keep watching and all that kind of stuff. But I think we'll get rid of this conversation, but let's just in case there's some laggers, anyone's not here yet, let's just entertain ourselves with a little trailer that a good follower of mine on Backtrack Cinema has created on his channel. So let's try this out here.
Now, this shark, he keeps swimming around in a place where the feeding is good until the food supply is gone, right?
It's called territoriality. What we are dealing with here is a perfect engine, an eating machine. And all this machine does is swim and eat.
Are you going to close the beaches?
This is a great white, Larry. A big one. And any shark expert in the world will tell you it's a killer. It's a man-eater.
Well, this is not a boat accident. There wasn't any propeller. It was a shark.
I'll catch this bird for you, but it ain't gonna be easy. This shark will swallow you whole. $10,000 for me by myself. For that, you get the head, the tail, the whole damn thing.
For Christ's sake, tomorrow's the 4th of July, and we will be open for business.
If you open the beaches on the 4th of July, it's like ringing the dinner bell.
And he's going to continue to feed here as long as there is food in the water.
You knew there was a shark out there. You knew it was dangerous. But you let people go swimming anyway.
You yell shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
All right. Let me bring us back here. There we go. Are we back?
Badass, man.
Cool trailer.
Badass.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
That
he
was
does a good job.
nice.
Jeff does, and that just shows you, even though it's an older movie, you cut it properly into like that's the first blockbuster. That movie.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the first summer blockbuster.
It's funny, isn't it, now when you look back at old trailers for like old movies and their trailers. I don't know if they just come across very dated now, but the way they used to bring
Yeah.
out these kind of shorts for movies, they look so dated and just they
Yes.
don't sell the films at all. You know,
Bro,
It's,
that trailer would have sold me on it. Like if I had not seen it and I saw that trailer, I'd be like, bro,
oh,
sign me up.
come on.
Sign me up right now. Yeah.
damn right.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so this movie, guys. I watch it every year. So yeah, I mean, it gets better every year.
Mhm.
This, I mean, it's a summer blockbuster, but it's also very character driven. And the opening of the film grabs me so much. But the one thing I'll say this off the bat, one thing I didn't notice before, and I feel like when the shark has that music, right? Dun, 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 when it's around. Well, when the kids are playing the joke, there's no music. And I told my wife, he gives it away right there. He never cued the music. He only Jaws only shows up, or he's only there when they're cueing the music. And I go, how many times have I watched this and I didn't even pick up on it? Like, yeah. And then it goes into the pond, and then the music starts. That's him. And I was like,
when you're noticing details like that, you've seen Jaws a lot of times.
Yeah. When you can sit back and not necessarily zone out of the characters and story, but you've seen it enough where if you miss something in the film, it's fine. You're paying attention more to like the details of certain things.
Absolutely. I was definitely still watching it just for the atmosphere this time, because I love Jaws. It's my favorite Spielberg movie, but I probably haven't seen it as many times as you guys. I've probably seen it maybe 5 times in my life, and I saw it, but I hadn't seen it maybe 6-7 years now. And you love a movie, and you remember it, and you remember the big scenes from it. But kind of watching it again, I was just like, get myself back into it, watch it like it's the first time I've seen it. So I wasn't sort of overthinking elements. I was just kind of sitting back, enjoying it, and just like letting it happen. And damn, what a movie! What a movie! It's just,
I love that.
Cracking film.
Yeah, I love it too. And another thing I noticed too is when the boy gets killed, his mom comes up to Brody and slaps him and gives him that big speech. And we'll get into more of this because I think it's important. But I wish Spielberg would have focused a little bit more on Brody's face, because what Roy Scheider was doing, I picked up on. And Clayton, you being acting training and stuff like that, he can't look her in the eye. He does for a bit, but you see him looking down, just absolutely. Yeah, he knows he was wrong. He knows he was wrong and stuff like that. And the way he wears it there, I just thought Roy Scheider's acting there was like, I just wish Spielberg focused a little bit more at times on cut back to his emotion too.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, to me, I think it still says a lot. The fact at the end, he does literally say to the guy though, that he knows it's his fault. I think that still does a lot in that scene. I feel that. I felt it felt genuine to me. The second he says that, you're like, he does genuinely feel like it's on him, like it's all going to rest on his conscience,
Yeah, I think that like a lot of people, I think Roy Scheider is the unsung hero in this film as far as acting. Like a lot of people talk about Robert Shaw, you know, in the USS Indianapolis speech, which is amazing. A lot of people talk about Richard Dreyfuss as Hooper, but not a lot of people talk about Brody and Roy Schneider's performance. But he was actually really good in this film, man. Like some of his reactions to certain things were spot on. His timing, his subtlety in a number of scenes, I thought was really good. He's kind of even though he's technically top billing, he's the one that kind of gets a little underrated as far as acting wise, because oftentimes people remember the large performances, and then people remember the monologue scenes. So you had, you know, Robert Shaw, who had the monologue scene. You had Richard Dreyfuss, who was kind of that kind of large personality on screen. And then you had Roy Scheider, who's just sliding kind of right there underneath both.
He's the final guy.
But
he's the final guy.
But he's
the
phenomenal.
one with he's the one who actually has a big mountain to climb. You got Richard Dreyfuss knows
got
all the science.
Art.
Yeah, he knows all the things about sharks. Quint's the great hunter. You know what I mean? But Brody has to overcome being on a boat, and he's like, when he first gets on the Orca, he's in his rubbers and all that, and a raincoat, and then by the end of it, he's like taking care of freaking business. And I am actually a fan of Jaws 2, and the way he is in Jaws 2 at the end of that, he's just like, I got something for you. Come on, and he's like taking care of business, like he's completely been through this when we get to the second movie, but. Yeah, I call him he's one of the greatest final guys because he has that character arc that has to be fulfilled, and but
the thing is, he's incredibly likable. Like he's a very warm character, and I love how his relationships with everyone in the film feel very genuine to me. You know, like the way he connects with his family, the way he's having to deal with the mayor, and he's a good people person, but he has like a real softness to him, and he just knows how to handle people. He gives people a chance. He's open-minded, and I think that's what makes him instantly likable. Like the second you spend 10 minutes, you love spending time with that character. And you really are rooting for him. You really love him. But I just think the other characters around him kind of complement him, because I've heard some people say before about Jaws 2, because I like you, I don't love Jaws 2, but I think it's all right. But I think on his own, it's not as memorable, you know, because I think he works so well with the other big, large personalities. Just the like I was thinking that in the final acts where you have the three of these guys together, all with very different personalities, and it's just the way they work together is just wonderful on screen to watch. You know, it complements each other. I think.
It's very much an ensemble piece.
Well, we can take some time to talk about the characters, because the characters are so good in this film. But like Brody, it's Brody's story. Like it opens with Brody. He's the first of the main characters that we're introduced to. And, you know, Quint doesn't come until later. Hooper doesn't come until later. It's Brody's story. He's the one that has this fear of the water, this fear of drowning. And he's the one at the end who has to face that fear. The shark, it symbolizes that fear of the water. It's the great predator of the water. It symbolizes that fear. And the boat is going down into the water. So Brody is there. He has to face that fear and overcome it. And he does at the end. And he's the one that gets the victory. And it was important for his character to be the one to get the victory at the end. Like that's something a lot of people don't think about. Like, oh, why didn't Hooper kill the shark? Why didn't, you know, Quint kill the shark? Brody was the one that had to do it. It was his story. It was his character arc. He needed to be the one to get that victory. So that was an earned victory. And that's why at the end, I think that's why you feel like so excited and exhilarated for the character, because you know he earned it, man. He was there from the beginning. He was the one that wanted to help everybody. And there's a crucial scene that I think tells you everything you need to know about all three characters. And it's seen that most people, when they see it, they just go right past it, don't even think about what that scene, what that actually means. But if you understand characters and you understand good screenwriting, it's the scene where I believe it's after the first barrel, after they had tied the first barrel on the shark. and it comes back up out of the water. You had Quint, you had Hooper, and you had Brody, and they all are like, hey, the shark's up again. And in that moment, all three characters do something different. And their reaction is key because it tells you everything about that character. Quint's response is instantly into battle mode. He grabs his rifle, he walks to the edge to shoot the shark. He's the hunter. He's the one that it's like, this is his charter, his vessel. He says that in the beginning when they all go to a board. So he grabs his rifle and he instantly goes to kill the shark. You had Hooper's reaction in that moment. His first reaction is, I got to photograph this. I got to capture this. He's the shark expert. He's the one that loves the enthusiast. He's the one, preservation type of guy. Like he wants to capture everything. He wants to observe it. He's the one that's fascinated with the sharks and with the ocean. So he goes to grab the camera and he wants to photograph it. And then you have you have Brody in that moment, and his reaction. He's not saying, "Hey, let's go photograph it." He's not grabbing his rifle or
my ass.
Yeah, he's not grabbing his gun to go shoot it. His first reaction it was dialogue, and his dialogue was, "What do we do? What are we supposed to do now?" And that, I think, tells you everything because his focus is on doing the right thing. What are we supposed to do here? He's the one that's thinking through. He's the one that's not only concerned about getting the shark, but concerned about doing the right thing. He's got that moral compass about him that has been shown throughout the whole film, and it shows in that moment. Not saying that Quinn and Hooper are immoral, but it just shows where the focus of your main protagonist lies.
Yeah.
That through all the way.
And I think they do a nice job of setting that up as well, because that the idea that at the start the film, like that you genuinely feel like he has this responsibility on his shoulders, that he's made mistakes, that some of his actions, whilst at the end of the day a shark coming on is no one's fault, at the end of the day indirectly some of his actions have led to people dying.
Right.
And he feels like he needs to do it. Like, I love that scene with him and his wife before he goes out on the boat. And he's just got that kind of committed mindset of like, no, we're doing this. I'm going out there with them. And as you say, I just think they set that up so nicely, that all the work that's done there, that when it leads to those final moments where he's kind of being that character and overcoming that, you're really on his side. I love that. And just that scene when it's rocking at the end and the boat's finding the water and he's lying on the actual mast, it's just
that's a great scene.
It's really cinematic.
Smile, you son of a bitch.
I really,
so
Jack just hinted on it. Like, this man takes the job serious. That's what I like. He takes it serious, and I like when he finds the body of the first swimmer there, and the first thing he does, he looks out in the water. Like, that instinct he has, he knows this is there's something out there that did. I don't know if he was thinking shark at that moment, but it seemed like it. But he's an ex-New York cop who didn't feel like he could make a difference anywhere, and he felt like he could make a difference here. And like Jack said, the mistakes he makes along the way here, and he's constantly thinking about it, right?
Yeah,
like he's got. I think the second killing, the boy, it was a big turning point in this movie, because that's where, wow, he screwed up. He should have put his foot down with the mayor and said, no, we're closing it. And now he wears it. Not the mayor. He wears it.
Right.
He's wearing, because everyone would look to the sheriff.
Yeah.
Right. Those where your first complaints go. And at the dinner table after, where he's just in his own little world with his son. And my God, the wife is brilliant in this when she's not saying anything. Brilliant in the background all the time. Like, she's she's so good in the second one too. Like,
I think there's the details. It's that kind of details you get in a Spielberg film where he builds up a family dynamic. Like, I noticed this recently watching. I was about to say Poltergeist. I don't know why I was thinking Poltergeist is it's not a Spielberg film.
Well, he arguably directed that.
He had obviously had a hand in it. He obviously had a hand in it. But his ability to kind of build family dynamics where you just like, where you feel way more invested when you get to like the action, the stakes, the stuff that's going on. And I think it's those subtle moments like the dinner table where the wife's watching him and the son. He's just stressed out and he just needs that support from his family. And she doesn't even say anything. But you just know that support and that kind of love is there. And it's those little moments that he does that really build up this world and these real people. And, you know, it's just, I think that was what he was a master of, you know. And it's interesting because Spielberg was young when he made this movie. You know, he was actually quite,
27
he was a young man.
like that.
Yeah, in his late 20s.
Yeah.
A young man when he made this. It's a very mature film, I think, in a lot of ways.
Well, I think it stand the test of time for a reason. And you know what I mean? And like with there's so many little things. I don't know if it was the actors doing this or it was Spielberg's direction. Because as you guys all know, sometimes actors, they bring their own nuances, right? But that scene at the table where they're just sitting around and Brody pours himself the giant glass of wine and the others get this, and he's just kind of looking at them and going, like he's already a little snapped.
I love the guy. Let it breathe. Let it breathe.
Never mind. Yeah.
That like the dinner table scene, or it's like he just grabs his food. Richard Dreyfuss. Anybody eating this?
Yeah. I also like Brody's reaction to his wife. Like he's past the point of like giving a fuck. So he's just like his wife is like, honey, can you do that? And he's just like, I can do anything I want. I'm the chief of police. He's just like, screw it, let's do it, man.
It's so good, and that's why she's so likable because she's understanding, you know, as well. But he's being like that. She's like, you know, he's in his moment right now.
Oh yeah, and you know, it's just that taking responsibility for the whole town. It was pretty brilliant, man. And I mean, is there anything else we want to touch on with Brody? Any other special? I mean, there's the classic. You're gonna need a bigger boat. Is absolutely
which was improvised.
Yeah, fantastic, and he sells it actually.
I didn't know that. I didn't know.
Yeah, he really sells that too. Just the look on his face.
Yeah,
and then
because it was supposed to be. If I remember right, he backs up into the room.
That's right.
And he just like looks at Quint. And I think he's supposed to just say something like, "Hey, the shark is out there," something. But he improvised the line and just felt like it would fit better to just say, "We're going to need a bigger boat," and it just became so iconic.
Yeah. What a great scene as well, where he's throwing the meat. He's not even really looking because he's been doing it the whole time.
You chum this shit for a while.
Go ahead. I can go slow ahead. Why don't you come down and chop some of this shit?
And him just wandering back after seeing that, because that's really the first scene that you actually see the shark in full, where you see like the head, where you see it in like the actual like that's the first moment. And it's like, I love that reaction where they all know it's there, they know there's this big great white, they know it's killed people, but just seeing it in the flesh is where you're like, that's serious.
It really works, man. It really works the whole moment. And that's where I feel like the movie takes a transition from horror into adventure. But I mean that in a good way. I don't mean that like they lost the tone. No. This is on purpose. The music changes and everything. Like this becomes like almost this, like the pacing for 1975 of this movie. That's what I mean. It took a young filmmaker to get audiences for the modern blockbuster. Like a lot of the directors of the 70s were directing films in the 40s and 50s, and I think there was a certain formula people were used to, and this guy comes around, George Lucas comes around, Ridley Scott comes around, and well, that might be a little bad example because Alien's a pretty slow burn, but you know what I mean, that what led Spielberg and George Lucas could really redefine the 80s, like took us into the 80s of a different pacing of film, a different flow.
I don't know how Spielberg does it, but he manages to have some of the best pacing in film, like not just in this one, like Saving Private Ryan. That's almost a 3-hour film that feels 2 hours. Like it does not feel its runtime at all. Like Spielberg just manages pacing so well in so many movies.
I think it's because every like normally sometimes in films you have it where it has a lot of build up and it's slow to start and you're kind of waiting for the thing that's going to happen. Whereas in Spielberg films, I feel like you don't get that so much because every single scene has something that grabs you that's interesting. The dialogue, like the dialogue really snaps along, the character interactions feel real. And I'm just like, even when they're just talking about whether or not to close the beach, like I'm hooked.
Yeah.
I'm just hooked straight away long before the sharks even getting involved, you know. So it's I think he definitely has a skill for that. The character moments, the little details and everything. It's just it makes you're not just waiting for the payoff. You're actually enjoying being part of this world. And it's definitely one of his skills as a director, I think.
Well, and part of it is like part of it is also a feel. Like you have to know as the director, you have to be able to have a feel of, okay, the scene is dragging a little too long, or okay, we've been having a little too much action. We need a little bit of a break. A lot of it is that kind of feel, but Spielberg he feels it so right. He just knows exactly, okay, let's push it. Let's go a little hard, and then knows exactly when to kind of ease up. But in both, when he's going fast and when he's going slow, he fills both of those with either dialogue or character that it intrigues you. And it's through the way that he directs his actors. And a lot of great directors, they can direct scenes really good. They can create great set pieces. They can direct action really cool, but they can't direct actors very well. And Spielberg knows how to direct actors to a key, man. And that's just, there's a reason why so many people consider him the GOAT of directors.
It's probably why he's succeeded in a number of different genres as well, like done a load of different types of movies. And I think they've all worked to you know, other than a couple of his early stuff, look, for the most part, all of his films have worked really well. And as you say, he kind of really understands actors, he understands character. And I think that's why he's able to tackle genres in a way that maybe some other directors don't.
I think he understands
versatility.
I think he understands the audience too, or what the modern audience. And after this, I mean, like, wow, he pulled it off, right? Like this went like way over budget because of the problems. And what an extra year of filming or something, like it was. It was pretty crazy.
They were allotted. I think it was 56 days of shooting. They went 100 and like 60 something. Like they went way over what they were allotted. And Spielberg said, like, he's like, every day I thought I was going to be fired. Every day I thought I
have heard this. Yeah, I swear so many masterpieces of the 70s have this story where they're kind of like really troubled productions, extended shoots, but they finished up and you've just got this absolutely amazing film.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting. In perfect world, if the shark was working, and in the shark's full of lines and fittings and hydraulics, and I work with that stuff. Like I make fittings for a living, like hydraulic fittings. What they just didn't expect the sea salt to just destroy them, but that's what happens. Like,
is that what it was? Is that why they had such problems with like the mechanical side of it? Is that what?
Yeah, it was the mechanical side. So he couldn't show it, and like he wanted to show a lot of the shark. So the shots he did get were very few and far between. He had this shoot in different ways, like that scene where it's under the water with takes the guy's leg off. What a perfect way of go. Okay, this is how we'll do it, because it probably wasn't even moving. It was probably just sitting there. Does the jaw still work? Can we still get that, right?
Because it's just sort of moving sideways under the water there. Then you get the cut to the legs.
But it's a terrifying shot. Terrifying.
Yeah. It doesn't linger too long. It's good because, you know, I think that's the thing with sometimes when you have a lot of effects work, I get the sense the directors want to kind of show it off by being like, look at it, like let's get the lights on it, let's really extend it. But actually, you know, when you've held back, when you've shown a bit of restraint, you often get much more effective scenes, because when you've seen something, you're not entirely sure how much detail or what it is you've seen. It just stays with you more. Like you say, the early scenes with the shark, you get a couple of glimpses at half under the water, probably only for a few seconds, and it just sticks with you. Just, you know.
Well, and that goes to something I want to talk about in the directing. That was the film editing of this film. It was nominated this year for best film editing. It should have won. It absolutely should have won, in my opinion, because the film editing is just freaking top.
What beats it?
Man, it's good. I forgot what it was. I'd have to look it
75.
up. But I remember looking at it and seeing and being like, dude, how did this
Yeah.
win over Jaws?
Yeah.
Because the film editing, there are some of the best cuts in this film that I've ever seen. I think one of my all-time favorite cuts actually is in this film. And it's the scene with the boy when he gets RIP'd by the shark out in the water, and Spielberg, you see how violent that kill was, and then Spielberg cuts directly to the famous shot of Brody with the camera trick right on his face, the close shot.
Oh, will it? Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
yes, and to me, that is just one of the best cuts because you have the problem, you have the monster, you have this horrible tragedy, and then it cuts directly to the effect that has on the protagonist, which is this very disoriented type of shot, close up, full emotion, subtlety in the performance, but it's everything from the actors, just spot on reaction to the way that Spielberg used the camera there, and it's a perfect like event and effect that event had
Yeah.
on protagonist character. It's just such a great cut. But
That
then
scene
also,
that scene's actually shocking as well because I feel like
yeah,
normally when they build up to a scene, you kind of get the tense moment, it builds, and then something happens. And with that,
yeah,
everything's a bit tense. You're not really sure when
yes,
something's going to happen. It's almost like quiet, and you just see the shark folding over and all the blood. You're like,
oh
oh my
man,
god, like it's just just the way
yeah,
it kind of
so
happens so
raw,
suddenly.
man.
Yeah, and it's like it's actually quite it's quite disturbing for like
It
because here
is,
it's rated like PG-12.
yeah,
And I'm like, that's quite a
You
disturbing
should see
film.
the
really
original,
is, man.
originally the way he wanted it. I don't know if there's some photos you can look up. I didn't get time to bring photos in, guys. So,
Mm.
but the kid is actually inside the mouth, and the shark is swimming up with the kid inside. It's like quite horrific to look at.
Yeah.
Well,
And
see,
then
I think that the way that he pulled it off was actually perfect,
yeah,
because
it
you
is.
don't want to go too terrific or too over the top,
No.
violent with that, because then it takes away a number of things, and it focuses too much on the carnage. But the
Yeah.
focus doesn't need to be on the carnage; it needs to be on the mystery of not knowing exactly what just happened, but also
Yeah.
on the reaction of the protagonist and Brody in that moment, because
Yeah.
he's the one that has that fear of the water. So if you prolong that attack, then it takes away from the importance of that cut directly to Brody. But then also the cut with the guy that loses his leg, the way that Spielberg shoots the shark coming up, you see the shark coming up, and then it cuts to the leg dropping. Like that's also a shock moment. Like whoa, like you weren't
Yeah.
expecting a cut from that to just seeing a leg,
Leg.
slip
Yeah.
down to the wall. Just so many great cuts in this scene in this movie, man.
Yeah.
The editing is just top
Well, I
notch.
think with that scene with the kid getting killed, I think that's when Spielberg's telling the audience, oh, who there's no one safe. Like this is
Right,
getting
right.
crazy. First you kill a girl, then you
Yeah,
kill this boy.
and you kill a kid
Who's safe here, right?
and a dog.
Um, and the dog. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
so
And
true. I'd kind of forgotten they actually had a kid. That's one thing I had forgotten. When the kid dies, that big scene on the
Mhm.
beach that you were just talking about, Clayton, I completely forgot they actually have a kid die. Because I
Yeah.
remember they got close with I remember the scene with their kids where the
Right.
guy who's watching them gets taken and loses his leg. I remembered that, but I didn't remember the fact that actually early on a kid actually does get killed. I just was
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
whoa,
yeah.
pull no
Well,
punches with that one.
and I think going back to one of the things that Jason had talked about earlier with the why Spielberg during the scene with the mom when she approaches Brody, she's in the all in the all black. Why Spielberg decided to stay on her versus switching to Brody was because in that scene you're meant to view it from Brody's point of view, so you see the weight of pain and sorrow
yeah,
on the mom's face, so
Yeah.
that guilt or that loss, that sense of loss, then transfers from her to Brody. Because if you sit on Brody too much, then you're not seeing that you're not seeing that loss on the mom, and it's about her and that loss in the moment. So sitting on her lets that feeling hang. And then when you cut to Brody at the end, then you see his perfect reaction to that. Which, by the way, they had to do that scene, like he had to get slapped like 20 something times by that lady. They had to do that like 25 times.
Really?
Yeah. So he had to get.
I mean,
slapped
she did a great job in that scene, because that's like a long one take as well, isn't it? It's literally one take, and it's like slowly like her kind of coming to terms with it and saying how she wants to kind of convey that she's blaming him.
Yeah,
and it's just like heart wrenching, scene. Yeah.
All right, so I want to get your guys' opinions on the opening scene, because I think this is why people are afraid. I think by not showing it at all, and the way he designed this whole sequence, shot in the daytime too. They slapped the filter on it. It's actually, you can see the original pictures. Yeah, he shot it in the daytime where there is sunlight. Slapped the filter on it to give that morning mist, like the morning light coming in. Because it's like morning. It's probably 4 in the morning. I'd like to say. Like that's probably.
I guess the problem, if you're doing it at night, you have to have like studio lights, and that's when things can start to look a bit fake, can't they? It doesn't look like real nighttime if you have the studio lights kind of going on. You know?
But this actress, I think her name's Christine Blacklady. She sells it. I think it's her when she's gurgling the water and saying it hurts. Oh my god, it hurts! It hurts! And she's like, please God, and then he. The camera follows her. She comes up to the camera, struggling, and then bang, she goes down, and then it's all quiet, right?
It's terrifying because she doesn't. Nobody even knows that she's struggling. Like the guy on the beach where he's just kind of lying there waiting, and she's literally on her own in the dark being eaten, and nobody's coming to help her. She's just like. The sea is already quite an intimidating place. Like, if you've ever been a little bit too far out, if you're on your own, like I'm actually calling for help out there, and no one can hear you. Like, there's something just kind of disturbing about that. I think it definitely taps into that because it's the sea already is quite scary on your own, let alone with 20 foot great white shark in with you.
And then you put it at night, which nighttime just makes everything scarier because you can't see. So even if it was someone on the beach, they probably couldn't see out that far at night. So you just hear the scream of the lady.
That should be so terrifying.
I know. It really would.
It's really iconic. It's so iconic too when she goes out swimming and she puts her leg up.
Yeah. She was a professional swimmer.
I believe you're right.
She's a professional diver and swimmer. That's why Spielberg got her for that scene, because he wanted someone who was a professional in the water. So that's like she's a professional like diver swimmer though.
I believe Spielberg too. He was under the water and she didn't know when she was going to be yanked, and he's under the water yanking at her, and she goes under. And then when they're pulling her, she didn't know like which way they were going to pull her, or how to even play that out. But it's fantastic.
She looks genuinely like shocking. She looks shocked, like she actually does, doesn't she? When she's in there, when she grabs onto the little buoy thing, whatever you call that, the little post that's sitting in the water. When she's grabbing onto that, she looks like in an actual state of shock, and it's just whoa. And it's all over quite quickly. I thought that scene was longer, but it's quite sharp, isn't it? It happens, and then it's just like. Whoa, like 30 seconds of just absolute chaos, and it kind of cuts, and that's it.
Right.
That's when I looked to my wife and I said, "And forever, people are scared of sharks."
Well, in the beach, man.
Like the moment right there.
I don't know how many people I've talked to, like they're like, I don't go out past a certain point and at the beach now. Like the fact that this movie has still impacted people 40, 50 years later, who are still afraid of the water or still afraid of sharks or whatever, because this film, I mean, you think of all the movies and television that were influenced by this film. I mean, Shark Week is like a massive thing now. That's because of Jaws, like so many, you have your stupid Sharknado movies. You have like all these other
that's just
stuff.
the thing, right?
Dude, I still need to see Sharknado.
No, you don't.
It is so hard for people to even make a good shark movie.
I know.
Yeah.
No one has even come close to this. Like,
no.
I think because it sounds like a bit of it sounds like a slapstick idea. And if Jaws didn't exist, the idea of a load of people being chased by a shark, you'd just be like, why would you have a big rubber shark chasing people? Just get out the water. Don't. But it's like, but because Spielberg is so good, like he found a way to make it a serious film. And I think I don't know whether other directors have just. Oh, and obviously Sharknado knew they were having fun with it. But you know, I'm sure a lot of movies probably thought, great, that's a great idea. We can make that serious, but you know, no one's ever achieved it to that level. You know?
Yeah, the first mistake they make is they make it about the shark instead of the characters.
Right.
That's where you fall into really big trouble, because he knew, no, it's not about the shark.
Right.
The shark's coming into it.
They sacrifice characters for spectacle. And once you do that, a lot of the film is gone, because a lot of people want characters, not spectacle, but they sacrifice the characters for the spectacle. And you get into this thing now, like every one of these shark and monster movies, they got to make the shark bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, it's just like, come on. Like, that's what
I saw. That I did see the Meg. I thought that was terrible.
Yeah, it was like a 2,000-foot shark that's bigger than the ocean itself. It's like, what are we doing?
Prehistoric giant.
Yeah, it's like, it was so stupid, man. But that's partly what made Jaws scary. Is 25-foot great white, is that a stretch? Yes. But is it possible? Yes.
Yeah.
It's in the
You're
realm of
right. It's just
possibility.
big enough where it's like it actually is kind of believable. Yeah, because when you see like the I was saying something about the Meg, when you see the Meg, you're just like, come on.
There's no way.
Yeah, you can't take it serious.
1,000-foot shark is out there in the water.
You can't take those movies serious. I mean,
no.
This has stood the test of time for a reason, right?
It's a shame they could never do Jaws again, even in the sequels, because like I think the second film's okay, but it's missing something that the first. I don't. I think some people really dislike Jaws 2, and I actually don't. I can watch it. It's not a bad film, but it's missing something, isn't it? There's a magic in the original Jaws that it wasn't able to recapture.
Yeah, and part of that is Spielberg's direction. Honestly, I mean, this shows that, you know, you still kind of have the same premise. You know, a shark feeding off Amity Island, and Brody having to go out there and, you know, kill the shark. Kind of. I mean, there's a few changes in the premise, but kind of the same premise. And yet, the second one, even though it's good, it's nowhere near the level of the original, and partly is because of the direction, partly also is the characters. You know, you're missing Hooper, you're missing you know, Quint, who were two great side pieces that really elevated the film. You know,
and I think they redo the arc as well of Brody in a way where, you know, early on in the film, in this one, where you can already see he's paranoid about the beach, like he's watching God, he's running up and down, he's on it. He's really like, the second something is going wrong, he's getting people out. And obviously you have that scene in 2 where he has like the panic, doesn't he? And he rushes and gets everyone out himself.
Yeah.
And it turns out to be a false alarm. And it's like, yeah, that's just, that could have been in the first film. Like, it's just the same thing. Effectively again. So they probably didn't know where to go with that and kind of take his character in a new direction, because the story had been told, you know, by the end of Jaws, you know. So.
You know what they should have done, looking back at Jaws 2? They should have never showed the shark. They should have had you believe that Brody was just too paranoid. This wasn't a shark at all.
It's like an actual paranoid film,
like a psychological thriller.
That could have been interesting.
That could have, and then I mean, held off on the shark. That's all I mean.
Right. Yeah.
Held off on him.
I could agree that they definitely would have been better off taking it in a different direction, because they basically, it felt like they tried to do Jaws again, but just
you know what? It's Jaws. It's slasher Jaws. It's a slasher movie. A lot of people have coined it as a slash. Like, Jaws is literally going after each teenager like Jason Voorhees.
You substitute the shark for Michael Myers or Jason or Freddy. You have a slasher film. So literally. I mean, it really is a horror film, and some of the iconography in this film is just so, dude. Bill Butler's cinematography in here is just fantastic. I mean, the way that he filters that opening scene makes it genuinely look like it's at night, you know, middle of the night. Some of his lighting with the on the boat stuff, I mean, the some of his dolly shots. I mean, his cinematography is just brilliant,
The scene
brilliantly.
where him and Hooper first go out together on the
Yes.
boat to
Oh,
investigate that boat at night, fantastic. Like,
yeah,
just
yeah.
absolutely incredible.
I
Like
was
the
just gonna
water
mention
shots,
that.
the way it's showed, just
I was
brilliant.
just gonna mention that about atmosphere. Like that's one
Yeah.
of the most
Yeah.
atmospheric scenes in the movie. And Bill Butler did those early Rocky movies too. He might have
Yep.
done the first 4, I think. I'm not sure.
He's a great DP, man. Like he was a great DP in the 70s and 80s, man. He had some great shots, and just the way that he pans over the Ben Gardner's boat, and you see that big indentation of the bite in the boat. As soon as that light hits the music score, dun, dun, and it just kind of keeps panning. Like, oh man, it's so good.
And the jump scare still works after all these years.
Man, it was so funny. I watched this with my girlfriend tonight, and she hadn't seen it since she was like 10 years old, and she screamed at that scene. The thing with the face coming out, it got her. It got her.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
It works, and that was they did that in a swimming pool after everything.
Yep.
They needed one more hurrah kind of thing.
Right.
Oh no!
Yeah, it was shot in a pool, and then Spielberg edited it in to that spot. But
that's so good. I saw it. I got this on literally. So my Blu-ray of this arrived tonight, and just as I finished the film, I saw at the end I had on the title thing of just all of like the making of, and I was like, now I need to see all this stuff. It sounds amazing.
Yeah,
like, they've got so much stuff on that.
The making of it is fantastic. Seeing all the behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, I also I do love though, as scary and as dark as this movie can be sometimes, it also has really great moments of levity with just like natural kind of humor and conversation that comes between the three guys. Like I love the scene with Hooper and Brody on the boat when they're going out at night to find the shark. And Brody was like, you own all this? He's like, yeah. He goes, you rich? Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah. Well, personally, out of the whole family.
I like when he goes, it's only an island if you look at it from the water.
The water.
That makes a lot of sense.
That makes a lot of sense. or when they're debating whether or not they're going out, and he's like, I'm not drunk enough to go out on the water. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. I can't do that. Yes, you can.
That's the thing. The banter between them is so good. It really is so funny, you know. And like the way he meets him early on as well, where he's kind of helping him out, and they kind of get chatting together just in between. Like obviously they're just there to help each other and stuff, but like the little chat they have in between, it's just so fun. You know, it's really fun.
Thank God it's changed from the novel, because in the novel, Hooper is banging Brody's wife because they knew each other years. Yeah. And so how you can't like a character who does that to your main. Like the book's stupid that way. Actually, you know what? I shouldn't say it's stupid. A book is a book. A movie's a movie. They're two different identities sometimes.
I guess because we're thinking about that having happened within the context of like
of the
how
movie,
the film plays out. Right. Yeah, so it's like that would have felt off.
And he also dies in the book. So
and
Spielberg
Hooper does.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Spielberg said that when he read the book, he was actually cheering for the shark because none of the characters were very likable. But this movie, it's amazing that it is as great as it is from a script writing standpoint, because they were literally writing the script as they were making this film. Like Spielberg was sitting in the room with Dreyfuss, with Scheider, and the producers of. They were literally having to write pages of dialogue and scene by scene as they're making this film. So the script, what we actually finally got, is vastly different than what originally it was leaning towards, because it was originally leaning much closer to the novel, but because of all the setbacks and all the headaches that were being caused on set and the malfunctions and everything, they went longer than they were supposed to. So they did a lot of rewrites on site, and usually that goes horrible. But here, I mean, it was so good, man.
Yeah,
It worked
I mean,
out
it
so
can
good.
do when the novel isn't. I mean, I don't know if the novel's as well received. I don't know a lot about the novel, if I'm honest. I don't know. Was that really well received before the
It
film?
was
Was that
a
like
it
well
was a
liked?
A
best. I think
bestseller.
it was
It
a
was.
bestseller.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's a bestseller.
Yeah,
Wow.
I
Goes to
read it
show
as
how
a
big the film
teenager.
was because I've barely heard about the novel or not heard like a lot about it. But I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
I
I read
we were on
I
a
read it as
camping
like
trip.
10.
Yeah, I was like, we're on a fishing trip, like going. I used to fish a lot with my dad. Um, just at like it was a place called, oddly enough, Jack's Lake. Um, and we were fishing for muskie and bass and stuff. And they at their local store there, like in on the campsite, they had Jaws, and I read it
Mm.
over the week there. I don't remember a lot from it, to be honest. I'd have to
Yeah.
reread it, but I
Yeah,
do
me neither.
remember the fact that I didn't like how they characterized a
Right.
lot of the characters, but I guess we should get into
Yeah.
Quint then. I guess the third
Yeah.
piece of
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
I forgot how
what a
long he
character.
disappears for in the middle. You know, when he first shows
Mhm.
up, I remember the scene in the room where the committee's all in and he's
Oh, that scene still bothers me,
He's
man.
like,
I always like, stop
he's like,
it.
risking my ass. I'll be doing it for 10,000.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
Such
Yeah.
a he
and it's
he
just
can
like
be
you don't see
so
him again, and that's it. You know he's coming back, but you just
Right.
don't see him again. I love that. I love that.
he's so he can be an intimidating presence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to me, he's Captain Ahab, man, and
Yeah.
and you find this out when that story, that monologue, you
Yeah.
find out like this situation he was in made him like Captain Ahab. He's been scarred and he hates sharks. He's
Yeah.
he hunts them. He'll
He's
do it.
bitter. He's
He's
full
a
of
little
like
bitter,
a lot of
right?
Yeah.
He's even stabbing it.
internal, yeah.
He's even
internal
stabbing it like
conflict.
Ahab at the
Yeah.
end of it, and
Yeah.
that's what I love about him. And him and Hooper, they come to the same, like they're both really good at what they do. They just do it
Yeah.
in two different
Yeah.
ways, right? And
Yeah.
Quint is just like he is this mighty hunter. Like I really love the moment where he said, where Hooper's like, "No, you don't got a fish. It's not a shark, maybe a swordfish," and then
Yeah.
the line breaks, and he's like, "Gaming fish, huh? Break
Yeah.
right through
Yeah.
that piano wire. You don't tell me my
Right.
business again." And
Yeah.
I think Quint
What
was
was that?
right there.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you guys think? Was that the Great White, or wasn't
I
it?
it
Like,
I think it was the shark, and I think the focus there, or the point that was being made, was the difference between knowledge and wisdom, the difference between knowledge and experience. Yes, Hooper has the knowledge. He's read all the books. You know, he knows, how the behavior and everything,
The
but he
technical
doesn't
ins,
necessarily
yeah.
have the experience on the sea, on the water that Quint has, like all
Yeah.
the years of fishing, all the years of doing this. Like there's a difference between knowledge and experience and actually putting it to practice. And Quint was basically telling him, like, look, this is what I do. Okay.
Yeah.
I know the difference between a swordfish and a shark biting the line. So yeah, I think Hooper
Yeah.
was reacting with all his book knowledge in that
Yeah.
moment, but Quint was right, because it would
Yeah.
a swordfish wouldn't have bitten through the line like that.
Yeah, I do like that they don't make I think towards the end it could have been easy to make the character of Hooper look not stupid, but just look like, okay, he's dealing with someone way more experienced now. This is the guy that's going to show them. But I do
Yeah.
like that they were able to work together because they
Yes.
all have genuinely different strengths. And it's like, even though they're all arguing and trying to tell each other, you can
Yes.
tell, like, especially as it goes on, there's that kind of respect between each other where they all know they've got their thing that they're
Right.
good at. And you get that from
Right.
Quint as well towards Hooper. You can tell that he knows, like, he has insight, he has things to say.
Yes.
But you say,
He
when
has
you're in my
something to add.
arena, I
Yeah.
will do what I
Yes.
do, you know.
I love-
But it's not just like I know everything and you don't.
Right.
He's very dominant in that way, but he knows that also he can help him, and that's what I like. They all are genuinely making this situation happen together.
Right.
like he sees the cage and he's just like, "What in
Can
the
you get
earth do
this
you got
little?
here?"
Yeah,
He
he's like,
goes,
can you get this little needle through his skin?
Yeah.
No, I can't do that. But if I get close enough, I think I can pump. Oh, that shark will rip that cage to pieces. You got any better suggestions?
That's so good.
Yeah.
You're always so calm and just
He's like,
suddenly.
you gonna go in the cage? Cage in the water?
Water.
Shark in the water? Our shark.
Our shark.
Farewell. Then he's like, farewell and you
Yeah,
do,
it
you
goes into the
fair
classic.
Spanish lady.
That is an actual song that they sing on the coast.
Mm.
But yeah, it's
so good.
Yeah, but to your point, Jack, like one thing that I thought was really good in this film was the dialogue. Each character has their own way of speaking in this film. Like one way that you can tell good dialogue writing in a script when you have a lot of characters is if you were to cover up the name on the paper of who's speaking and still be able to tell who's saying the line.
Yeah.
That's good script. That's good dialogue writing. And you could absolutely do that with this film. If you
100%.
cover up Hooper's lines, you can tell it's Hooper speaking.
Yeah.
Because his dialogue tells you something about who he is and what he does. The way, like when he's in the room with the doctor and Brody, and they're examining the body, and he's speaking with all this technical wording about the victim and the squalus and all this other stuff. Exactly who's speaking. It's Hooper. And that dialogue tells you about this character. Like I see so many movies, like I recently saw Imaginary, and like if you watch Imaginary and you're listening to the dialogue, you're like, every one of these characters is talking the exact same way. Even the kids are talking the exact same way as the adults. And you're like, if you were to cover up the dialogue on any one of these characters, you would have no idea who's saying these lines.
Are you talking about Imaginary that came out like a couple of years ago?
Yes.
Oh,
with the bear and all that stuff.
That's not a good film.
It's actually from someone who's tried to crack that script writing, it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to have everyone have their own little lingo. I find it really freaking difficult. Sometimes I'm writing, I'm like, is he talking too much like his friend? Like, or are they their own?
Because it's tempting to project your own personality almost into these characters. How would he speak to him? How would he speak to him? But you've got to think as if these are a load of different characters that I don't necessarily know, and they have their own personalities. As you say, Clayton, it's like he's like Hooper's character has such a distinct personality. It never feels like he's saying a line for the film. It's like that's who that guy is. He does have this quirky, he's very technical dialogue, has the little jokes that intercut it. That's who he is. You know?
And his dialogue tells you what he is. His dialogue tells you, okay, this is a shark expert. I can gather that based on his dialogue alone, the way that he knows the technical wording, the technical names of the species and stuff. He's a shark expert. If you're reading Quint's dialogue and just cover up his name, you can tell, okay, this guy's a fisherman. He knows the water very well. You can tell what he does based on his dialogue. It's very distinct. Same thing with Brody. You can tell he's in law enforcement. He's, probably has a maybe a detective background or something. Like, that's good dialogue writing, man. When each character has their own distinct voice, it tells you about the characters and what they do without overtly expositing it in the film.
That's actually something I was going to mention as well that I love about this film, is that it gets you to pay attention to the dialogue. So I know this isn't often in older films as well, but you get scenes where they're quite chaotic, where lots of people are all talking over, like when they first catch the original shark that the authorities are trying to say is the one. Like, they're all kind of talking over each other, all trying to make points, and it's just chaos. And like, that's how that scene would actually play out. You would all be kind of talking together and trying to fight to get your say in. Like, that feels really real to me. I hate it when it's almost like, as you say, like, you point to one character, he delivers exposition of what the audience needs to know. Then you have this person. It's like, no, this is how that scene would play out naturally. This is what it would be like in that situation. I just love that.
That's what I love about the monologue scene, is the lead up. Like they're exchanging scars and everything, and that's all designed to get to the monologue, where he says like, "Where's the
what happened there?"
That's a tattoo I got removed. He doesn't even want to talk
about
it.
Don't tell me. Your mother.
Yeah, but it's like Hooper,
when it cracks Brody up. I love that.
Hooper, that's the end. He goes to U.S. Indianapolis, and then he just pauses. You were on the Indianapolis,
Yeah.
right?
Great
And then,
segue
oh
into it.
man, are there any moments in that? Well, even before that, with the scars and everything, I love how Quint, like he really looks half snapped. He probably was, because the way he goes, I can't extend this. You know why? Big Chinese fella, take me over.
The
He's
biggest big Chinese fella can pull me right up.
the way he's
I love. Do you know what I love this about Quint as well, though? Because it looks like he's kind of disturbed and like almost as like a PTSD from things that have happened in the past. But his way of like coping with it is to almost have fun with it. And I love that, the kind of jokes and the humor he brings to it, because it's like, like at heart, he's got a sensitiveness where he is actually genuinely disturbed by things that he's seen.
Right.
But at the same time, he has a way of coping. He has a way of getting on with it. And you bring, say, even in that scene where they're kind of comparing the bites and the injuries, you just get that.
So we'll drink our legs. All right. So we'll drink your legs.
yeah. So let me just so there's Jeff right there, who created that trailer we played earlier.
Awesome.
Played one of your trailers, Jeff. So this is Jeff Beechuk. Great
trailer.
Dude, amazing work. It's so good.
So good.
Thanks for hanging out with us, Jeff.
If they re-release that film in for the what would it be? The not fifth? Yeah, no, 60th. I guess would be the next one.
Yeah.
So you do that 55th. Unless you do that trailer for it.
Yeah, great stuff.
Well, last year, 50 years. Oh my god.
I know, and it still stands up.
It's crazy, right?
I would love to see this movie in theaters. Like, if they ever you know how they do sometimes the one night release or weekend release of older movies. Like, I would love to see this one.
They've done it. They do it often these days. They do it in hotels where you're on the water.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Pool.
Yeah.
I've heard about this.
Cool. Yeah,
I've heard about this where they did like a thing where they had like a hosted screen over a little lakeside there. Oh, it sounds amazing. How cool!
That's so cool. And you're just sitting on the little tube, dangling your feet in the water at night, watching Jaws, dude. Oh man,
watching that film like that must be amazing.
Is there anything you guys want to hit on the monologue? Like, you have I'll tell you what the part I like. I like the whole thing, right? But I really like when he's like, we didn't see the first shark for about an hour. 14-foot tiger. You know how you know that, Chief? When you look at it from the dorsal to the tail. And when he starts talking about, well, you don't. He doesn't look like he's going to be living. He's got a doll's eyes, and until he bites you.
Yeah.
And then you hear that high pitch screaming. I love that kind of section of it. Even though it's all. It gets you get chills from it. You start.
Yeah.
Yes.
You start getting
the way he tells it, it's super disturbing. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a great. It's one of the best monologue scenes in my opinion, because it tells you so much about the character, but also the conviction of the delivery is just like, he transports you to that time, and he lets you see his trauma through the detail of the story, and
that's it. That's when you know the character's like disturbed as well.
Yes.
That he's not just this guy that can handle anything and has been toughened up. Like, he actually does when he thinks about this stuff. It takes him back, and he was obviously really deeply affected.
Yeah.
Like, even at the end when he's like, well, we delivered the payload, we still managed it. But in his mind, that he's like, it basically took me with it, effectively. Just kind of, it's sad in a way as well. You kind of, that's where you like really start to feel for the character. Like, if it kind of, that's when he dies, obviously at the end, like that, it really hits me, because I think like there's scenes like that where obviously at first he's this very bullshit character. When you get those scenes, you understand why. And it's like that, everything that's been done there makes that when he kind of comes to his end, and it's like devastating.
Yeah, that, and also like the other part of that monologue that makes me feel for the characters, when he's talking about his friend, the baseball player, how he came across him, and he's just bobbing up and down. He'd been
bit in half, right?
He'd been bitten in half below the waist. And you're just like, oh God. Dude. And then he tells you, he's like, that's the scariest moment of my life, sitting there in the water waiting for my turn. And you're just like, damn, dude. Like, can you imagine just being there waiting for your turn to die? waiting for your turn for a shark to come get you.
And
you're
or it's like he's like
worse than that.
Also, it's so sweet. Like when he goes, sometimes the sharks would go away.
Right. Sometimes they
wouldn't go away. And his voice changes. Right. It's almost like that fear inside swells up.
Yeah.
And
he talks about sharks like monsters in that way, isn't it? Where it's like they're unpredictable. You don't know, how they're going to react and respond. And I think that's what I love about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
1,100 men went in the water.
300 something came out.
The sharks got the rest.
June 29th, 1945.
Anyways.
Yeah. But then he says
we delivered the bomb.
Yeah. Anyway, we delivered the bomb. But he says, by the end of that first dawn, lost 100 men. I don't know how many sharks, maybe 1,000. I don't know how many men. They average 6 an hour. Like 6 people an hour getting eaten by sharks, man.
You want to do a sequel to Jaws or a prequel? And there's your movie.
Yeah.
I just do that.
You just gotta find a young Quint, and I think you could do that with that talent out there.
That would be a dark, horrific movie.
Because you already know the ending.
You know where it goes. Ooh. Yeah. What a great character, though. What a great character. And
really
it's like so much is done with him in so little time. And obviously the third act is big, but I just think, obviously Robert Shaw, incredible performance, but there's so many little details with the character that make you love him, that just make you kind of be on his side, even when he's being over the top and in your face.
Right.
And like
being a
you
little
still love
dramatic.
him.
Yeah,
being dramatic, but they just have enough warmth with him where you connect.
Right. Well, I love that whole scene, the whole night scene, because that's like their time of bonding. Like that's when all 3 guys, they relate to each other, they kind of bond together in that moment. And then the transition, so they go from like joking to like really serious in that monologue back to kind of light, because then they go into the whole song, show me the way to go.
That's it, the singing. Oh, it's so good. And the thing is, it's great because by then they've already been through quite a lot of shit together by this point. Like what's already happened, like they're already in this together. They're in deep now. There's no going back. So you do get that kind of real like sense of camaraderie between them, because it's like if it had happened too early, you'd be like, oh, well, they're still, it's not like they know each other, but when you've been through an event like that, you can understand how people would connect in that situation. These are like your brothers out at sea now, and that's why I just love that scene where they're sharing the wounds and then they're singing. It's just like, damn, you would.
They connect so good in that moment. But even there's even moments on the boat where that are kind of humorous, like after Quint kind of calls out when he calls out Hooper, and then Hooper turns around and is like talking crap about him behind his back. Like,
and you can tell he's just getting so frustrated about him. It's just God.
And then he's underneath hitting the board, giving Hooper orders, and he's like, I can't take this abuse much longer.
They didn't like each other either, those two. So it worked for the for
in
the
real
film.
life. Really?
Yeah, they had a hard time getting along.
Wow.
And it really worked for the film. And also, Robert
Shaw was one of them known to be quite difficult in real life.
Well, Quint was drunk all the time. Robert Shaw was always hammered all the time.
Really?
But like Hooper, like Richard Dreyfuss has also said, like he looking back on that experience, he knows or believes that like Robert Shaw was intentionally being hard on him to push him as an actor. And because there was one scene I remember, I may be on the special features, Jack, on your Blu-ray, but I remember there's one scene where the guys had been on the boat for like days and days shooting, and Robert Shaw was like sick, like he was legitimately seasick, was like throwing up and just felt awful. And Spielberg was like, they needed to get this scene done on this day. This was like their last chance to do this one scene. And so Spielberg was like really trying to like, he's like, I know you're not feeling good, but can you at least give it just one try? We just one try. And Robert Shaw was like, sure. So, he's like, Spielberg talks about it. He's like, 5 seconds before I said action, like Robert Shaw was like leaning over, like he was all sick and just like was nauseous. And then he says action, and he said it was amazing. Shaw like straightens up, goes straight into character, delivers the line perfectly. And then they get the exact shot that he needs, and then he cuts, and Robert Shaw goes straight back into like being sick. But like, it's so cool to think like that's the commitment that he had, that he was just like, you know what, I'm just going to soldier up. I'm going to get this scene done, be in character. And like, I love that, man, as from an actor.
He was quite a confident, assured actor by that time, wasn't he? Richard Dreyfuss was a little bit young. Obviously, he was much younger, but he was more of a rookie at the time, wasn't he? Whereas Robert Shaw, he had been in the game and knew his stuff, didn't he? So he was kind of good at getting into character and earned his stripes. Exactly that. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know whether he had bad health as well at the time, because I didn't realize how soon after the movie he died.
Yeah. He wasn't around much longer after that.
Yeah.
Well, he
died in 78. Couldn't believe
he
that.
also he wanted to do the monologue like snapped, so he got drunk.
Yeah.
But he couldn't do it. He was flipping over the lines and everything. So then they sobered him, and then he did it again. And he actually changed the dialogue. It was a lot longer, so he shortened. He thought it would be better if he shortened it up, and just the stuff that he kept was the impact. It really impacted the scene really well.
Nailed it.
We got Russell Dorsey in the chat, says, "What's up, everyone? Let's smash that like button if you haven't already." Hi, Jason, Clayton, Jack, and everyone in chat.
What's up, Russell? Glad you could make it, man. Go watch our first one too. I know you'll enjoy that. But Russell's a good guy, man. He's a good dude.
He did. He left a bunch of comments for us. He loved when Hereditary was mentioned and you left the room.
Oh, that pissed me off. That chapped my ass. That chapped my ass. I still can't believe Jack would do that to me.
Well, Clayton, you say this. You might, after your rewatch of Get Out and your change, so you never know. I'm just saying, you never know.
I'm always willing to change my mind. I think it's good to be open minded and
I agree, man.
Be willing to change your mind on a film. So
it's very true. So you never know. You never know. Hereditary might be a new number one.
A long shot, but it's
a long
possible,
shot.
you know. But
another thing, I saw going through this movie this time, and probably this would be my only criticism too, and it's not even really, it's more nitpicking than anything, is I find the transition between the real sharks, the documentary footage underneath that they shot, and between the Bruce the shark, I find it very noticeable now. Like years, like 50 years later.
After 50 years, I think if you're looking at it, I think it is noticeable, but I don't think it's like so bad where it just ruins the film. I think
not at all.
It's
so I don't know enough. Luckily for me, I don't know enough because I haven't seen these features yet. I don't know enough about how they did it. And as someone just watching it again, not like looking too hard at trying to see the seams. It looks good to me still. Jack, it looks good, I would say.
So when the shark is destroying the cage, when he gets out of there, that was a real shark. It got caught in the cage, and it started flapping around, and you can tell because its whole tail is moving. And
so, this is the thing. When I saw that at the end, I was like, "Oh my goodness, that looks good." Yeah. I thought that looks like I didn't know whether the fact that was real makes a lot more sense because I was like, "Wow, what if they were doing with those animatronics?"
So Spielberg hired these documentary people who dive for shark. I think, isn't that right, Clayton? They were diving for sharks.
They're shark experts.
Yeah. And I think they put a dummy in the cage, or they put a boy in the cage. I don't know the exact or
when it's shaking out
in there, like trying to the water with kids.
But it's also
a steak in there with him. It'll go for him. Don't worry.
Like it also looks great because you could see. I was showing my son that part is a real shark when he looks and you see the shark circling him around. You could tell because it looks a little smaller, but it's kind of like what you see on Shark Week. You can see,
there's a number of scenes that they used real sharks, and you can kind of tell. But I think
with the animatronics, there's a couple of scenes I think when you can tell it's quite still, like the way it's floating underwater. You can tell it's one piece moving under. Like if you're really, but I think if you're not looking at it, in that. If you're just letting it flow, I think it's for you guys. So you've seen it so many times. It's interesting to look at the details and stuff like that. I think if you're doing that, you'll notice things.
Well,
but for me, who was just trying to lean back and just be like, just let it happen, just watch it, immerse. It looks good. I still think it looks brilliant.
You know, when Brody's on top of while it's going down, and Jaws jumps up. Just the fact that Spielberg, this was the jaws are open. It was probably one of the few times it was actually working in that sense. And he's got a huge close up on it where you just see doing that. I thought, okay, that was a perfect shot because it sells that it's real. Right. With the teeth and all that kind of stuff. You still see shit in his teeth and everything after he eats Quint and everything. It's freaking
go on, Clem.
I was just gonna say, like, that scene though, like with Quint's death is so brutal, man. Like the way that they shoot that, you just hear the crunch of him like biting down on his body, and he's just spitting up the blood, and you're just like, ugh. That would just be.
As a kid, that was the scene that disturbed me, man. When he gets that final bite and he's screaming, and all that blood's coming out of his mouth, that got me. It's quite disturbing now. Even now, it's pretty disturbing because like. There's so much chaos in that final third act. You don't realize, obviously, when the boat starts to go down, he slips and starts to go in. It happens quite suddenly where he goes and you're like, oh, wait, he's in trouble. Oh, wait, now he's dead. It's like, whoa, it really catches you off guard,
But Robert Shaw also sells it so good. Like that scream is like literally sounds like he's dying. Like you just,
it's actually horrible.
It really is, man. Like you can. It's funny because if you're like a big horror fan, like all three of us are horror fans, we can probably all think of like certain movies where a character screaming and the scream just does not sound real.
No.
It does not sound authentic or whatever. You don't buy it. You're like, okay, they're just screaming because the director's telling them to scream. So that scream is like legit. Like Robert Shaw sells that scream, man.
That's why it's so scary, man.
Being eaten by a shark.
That's why that's death. Because obviously, it's not. Obviously, by modern standards, it's not actually a graphic scene really at all.
Right.
But it's, as you say, it's the acting, man. It's the screaming, the panic. It's the panic in his voice. You haven't heard him scared or panicking yet. The whole film, even with everything he's seen. And that moment, you hear the panic and then the screaming, and it's like, oh god.
Yeah.
And after that, after the story he gives, he had to go out that way. That was just a given, right? Like,
very poetic.
That's what I mean. That monologue is just not a monologue for the sake of there's actually more to it than that. There's a lot it's doing. There's a lot
it's doing. Filler. It's not filler at all. It's developing the characters, all three characters actually.
And
foreshadowing. Yeah. And it's
I think that's why that scene gets better the more you see it. Do you know what I mean? Like when you know how the whole film plays out and how the characters' arcs kind of ends, seeing that again, knowing that, it's like, whoa, it's pretty powerful stuff,
And one last thing here before we start wrapping it up, like another thing I love about this movie is that there really is no downtime. And what I mean by that is like there's no filler. Like so many horror films, especially slasher films, have so much filler. You're like, dude, you could cut out like 30 minutes of this movie and nothing's going to change. Jaws is very tight. Everything is there for a reason. Everything is either developing plot or developing character or setting up something that gets paid off later on. So it's very tight, a very tightly edited and structured film. Everything has a purpose and there's really no filler. And I love that with this movie.
Yeah, you're so right. Literally not one scene. Like say every scene, I'm like, if you cut that, you're actually missing something like vital to the film. I assume there was never I've never heard of there being a director's cut or anything like that.
No, there's some stuff got cut.
Something supernatural going on at Jason's place.
These are the poltergeists. Speaking of Spielberg,
everything will survive.
Jason, you knew you shouldn't have moved that Jaws VHS. That's what did it.
That's what the shark's coming for Jason now.
It's like
that's why I put my posters in frames, man. I lost my train of thought now. But there's some scenes with you get the first introduction to Quint where he's buying the piano wire. And it's a pointless scene. You can see why they cut it. Like there's a kid learning Beethoven or something on a piano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's behind the kid going boom, 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 boom,
Oh,
boom,
right.
boom. Kind of like, and I think there's.
No, I did know. I have seen deleted scenes before, but I just want, you know, sometimes usually with this many years later, you often have alternate cuts. But I seems with Jaws that the cut when you buy the Blu-ray, the video of Jaws, the movie is the movie. There's no director's cut. There's no special cut of the film, is there? Like the film is as it is.
No, it's a final cut, and it's I mean it's perfect in my opinion. So that's why I argue that in my opinion, Jaws is arguably the best film ever made. I mean, not like, is it everyone's favorite film? Maybe not, but like it just everything from a craft standpoint, the editing, the cinematography, the pacing, the performances, like there's literally not a single weak element in this film.
No.
It is
it's a super film. Yeah, it
as
really
close
is.
as you can get to a perfect film. Like that's Jaws, man. It's just such a banger.
It's I believe it's easily top 20 for me, top 10 probably.
Yeah, it's top 10 for me all time.
Yeah.
Like I say, I watch it sometime in the summer, and sometimes I go. I don't always go through them all. Obviously, three I loved as a kid, but my introduction's more my introduction. I don't like it now. It's rough, but number 2 is the one I watched as a kid all the time. That's the one that scared me. That was the one where there's scenes in it where
because there's more
weird.
action for a kid, isn't it? Because
Right?
as a kid, like 2 does have action. It's like a lot more shark action, I guess.
And there is a scene in there where the shark, there's the little boat, the Tina's boat, I believe.
Yeah.
Where he pushes the guy right up to the boat. And I always thought that was an incredible. Like, there are some good stuff in there, right?
The thing with Jaws 2 is like, I like it. It's a good film, but it's such a B version of this original that to me it's just like as a standalone movie. If someone was like, "Hey, I'm gonna throw on Jaws 2, you want to watch?" Sure, okay, yeah, I'll watch it. But on my own, I mean, I have no reason to throw on Jaws 2 when I can watch Jaws 1. Is my thing, and it
doesn't. You're right. It doesn't add to it. It doesn't add anything. Yeah, that's the problem. Isn't it? It's like watching the same movie again, but
it's unfortunate for Jaws 2 because I do like Jaws 2. Like if Jaws 1 didn't exist, I would be fine with Jaws 2. Like it's a good movie.
Agree.
It's just
I agree with that.
The first one is just so good that you're just like, this is unfortunate for the sequel because like, how do you follow? I mean, how do you follow Jaws, man? So it's just. It's one of those.
That's the problem, isn't it? 2's kind of pointless, but not a bad film, and then you've got 3 and 4, which
we'll just
it's a boring ranking because I ranked them in order 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah,
I go. I
need to watch 4.
3.
Yeah, I was going to say it's interesting. I need to watch 4. I've seen 4 and 3. I always remember 3 being worse.
I think
with the shark, the stop motion shark coming up to the screen. I just always remember that
so bad. But also, just like I don't like the setting of 3 at all. Like just keeping everything confined in the water. Like sharks are meant to be wild. You know, that's like making a horror movie of a lion at a zoo. I don't want to see a. I don't want to see a lion at a zoo.
If you really want to compare this movie, the biggest comparison for this movie is Jurassic Park. That's kind of like it's a similar type of movie with great characters.
That's another banger. Yeah,
that's right. It's a 5 out of 5. By the way, there's my grade, 5 out of 5.
yeah.
I actually think Jaws. The reason I actually prefer Jaws to Jurassic Park because I think Jaws has a better ending. I love Jurassic Park, but I think the ending sometimes I'm like, oh, okay. It wraps up quite suddenly, whereas Jaws just ends beautifully. Like,
beautiful. Perfect ending, perfect opening. Everything in between is good. I guess we'll go ahead and go around and give our ratings, our final ratings for Jaws, and we'll wrap it up. 5 out of 5 for me. Everyone knows 5 out of 5. It's top 10 movie of all time for me. It's just a great film. Jack, what about you? What's your score?
So I'm torn. I like you guys. I can't criticize the film because I love it. I'm because I've only seen it still a handful of times, but I always get a bit torn between a 4.5 and a 5 because I absolutely love the film, but I'm like, am I ready to call it one of my favorite horror films ever?
Well, I think it could maybe get a 5 out of just the respect that you have for it.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't have anything really negative to say about the film. I genuinely think, as you say, that you can't really criticize it. It's my favorite Spielberg film as well.
Yeah.
My favorite Spielberg. It's a wonderful movie, and I've liked it more every time I've seen it as well.
Yeah.
So
it's a 5 for Jack. We'll write that out. We'll put that in 5.
It's a 5 for me too.
Or not allowed to wear the t-shirt if I don't give it a 5.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a 5 out of 5 for me, or in my case, I guess an A. It's brilliant. This goes to show what you can do when you have to think on your feet and you go, okay, I have to change the game plan here. This thing's not working. What do we do? Everyone's looking to him. What do we do? And he figured out a way. Okay, what if we don't show the shark as much? Will that create this atmosphere? That's something people are doing now.
Yeah,
people are let's Silver Bullet. Another thing. The wolf didn't look that great. So what does he do?
Mm-hmm.
He hides it in such a way that it scared me as a kid.
Yeah.
Right. But when they did show when they did have there are good parts where the wolf is changing. That's good. But for the most part, I don't actually have a problem with the wolf in that movie. Well, we'll get to that on another episode. We have to do that one sometime.
Our thoughts on that one.
Yeah. Yes. But that's a movie that comes to mind where I'm like, the director had to hide a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so people are still using this technique because it's imagination. It's what we think.
You got to think though, Spielberg was a pioneer of this though, wasn't he? Because it's like he did that. He showed how that could work, being really minimal. Like you've got a film about a giant killer shark, and you're not going to show the shark for the first hour and 30. What are you thinking?
Right.
But it's like he was probably one of the first to do that something ambitious, probably with a great big mechanical shark. He was probably the first to do that and very carefully handle it in such a way where it was all about the tension, the build up. And as you say, the characters and the story, rather than whereas obviously now people know Spielberg succeeded with that, so they can kind of play off and use that. But he was doing it early.
It's a perfect example of less is more. Sometimes you don't want to just overexpose the monster. Sometimes just hiding them, keeping them in the bag actually builds more tension. And then you top that with the iconic score. I mean, everyone knows that score. You just play that doo-doo. And people are like, oh, it's Jaws.
Do you guys know the story behind that?
Yes.
Yeah, John Williams shows, okay, here it is, Stephen. And he's going on his piano. And he goes, that's it? Are you serious?
Yeah.
It's like a child wrote it.
He did not buy it at first.
Simplicity. He said it's simplicity. Your movie he says, I just went dun 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 dun.
He's like, and he told Spielberg, he's like, this is the score for Jaws. This is it. And then once they finally put it in, he was like, he is right. It worked.
And it worked. It worked for Terminator 2. Like dun, 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 dun. Just 4 notes. Dun, 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 dun. And that was like the motif that the Terminator's here. It's close.
I think when a film's so good though, because you end up attaching the music to it, it becomes iconic. It's hard to know. Like if the film had been bad, would the music still be iconic? It's so hard to separate them off because they become like this big thing together. But like that amazing film with the you can't really separate them.
I mean, sometimes a score can literally elevate a film and make it so. Like John Carpenter experienced the same thing with Halloween. Like he played Halloween before he had the score. So like a producer, and there was no score, and the producer was like, "This is not scary at all. This is nothing." And then he went in and just added a simple score. It's literally just a 3-4-5 on a keyboard. You can play that with one hand. And then he dubbed that over. Yeah, and it's iconic, So just sometimes just simplicity, a simple score can just elevate the whole emotional effect of the audience. But a fun fact here before we wrap up. Over 67 million people in the U.S. went to see this film when it was initially released in 1975 just under a third of the country's total population at the time, making it the first summer blockbuster.
My goodness.
Is incredible.
So
That is
Rob
insane.
Rob Zombie has a funny story. He said, "Yeah, my parents took us to the drive-in a lot, and this was one of the films that terrified him. They took us to the drive-in because they wanted to go, his parents." And he said, "We were freaking terrified. We had blankets under our freaking." It just he talks about that, how Jaws is a big influence why he loves horror so much.
Yeah.
So I
It's
thought that was kind of
interesting.
a funny story.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I have been reading a little bit recently about horror, especially from the 70s and 80s, and how a lot of it, like we know now as classics, The Shining, Alien, all this kind of stuff, and a lot of it was not quite as revered at the time as it is now. Like stuff like The Shining in particular, obviously, is a known one for being much more beloved now. But apparently, even Alien, to an extent, is more loved now. And but Jaws seems to be one of those where it genuinely was critically praised, as well as audiences being terrified and loving it. It seems like unanimously people kind of loved Jaws when it came out. I don't know if it's bigger now or better received now, but it's obviously a loved film. But very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Russell says they say sharks will give you a warning, like bump you.
I hope so, because I am not sharks terrify me, bro. I'm not looking to get RIP'd by a shark. Like, I won't even go in the water. People, like my brother's been trying to get me to go shark diving for years. I'm like, bro, I've seen Jaws, dude. I know what happens when you get in the water. Like,
I like my feet nice and dry on land.
Yes. I'm like, there are some things that you should have a healthy fear of, and sharks are one of them. Like, so it's just, but cool, man. Well, guys, I hope you all enjoyed this fun discussion on Jaws. Do let us know your thoughts of this movie in the comment section. What would you rate it? And what, anything and everything you want to let us know in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe while you're here. Help the channel out. Get us out there as we keep growing. And stay tuned for our next episode where we're going to be talking about Hush. Thank you guys for kicking it with us, and we will see you freaks next time.
Cheers,
Later,
everyone.
everybody.
Cheers.